Welcome back to map number 2 between LiiLD.C and ToD, and this time LiiLD.C is spawning on the left hand side spawn position of Echo Isles. He is going for altar first again, so we're not gonna see any crazy tavern hero shenanigans by him. Of course he's under a little bit of pressure right now as he's lost the first map in this best of 3 on Turtle Rock in just 3 minutes and 26 seconds. He's going probably for an Ancient of War here in front of his green camp again, and his opponent ToD spawning on the right hand side of Echo Isles in blue, going for altar first again, barracks, farm, nothing particularly surprising. And out of ToD we're definitely gonna see the IEM first again. As far as I remember, in the entire tournament we haven't seen a human go for anything else a single time, and I'm assuming that's not gonna change here in the finals as well. IEM for ToD as expected, and for LiiLD.C, excuse me, it is the Demon Hunter once again. So we'll see if LiiLD.C is gonna change anything up here. I mean, he's definitely gonna survive longer than 3.5 minutes in this one. Let's see if ToD is gonna go for a tower push here again. Of course, Turtle close position is somewhat of a unique situation, so we'll see if he's just gonna stick with that, or if he's gonna go for a more regular, for a more late game minded approach in this one. So heroes are about to spawn. ToD with the scout farm here, with the third farm to close off this entrance. So he's gonna have one remaining to his base. ODM spawning on the wrong side of the altar, so that's gonna cost ToD a little bit of time. He starts with a very conservative creep camp here. Not using any militia so far, so he's gonna save himself some lumber. We'll see if he's gonna go for the immediate expansion afterwards, just to have the level 2 already after creeping the expansion. So that might be why he's taking this one first. We'll see, or if he's just gonna go for the mercenary camp right now. Demon Hunter did start with some creeping in front of his own base, only took the Ogre Warrior down, picked up the Gloves of Haste, and we'll see what he decides to skill here. No mana burn just yet, which, okay, there's the mana burn, so no immolation by the Demon Hunter. Mana burn on cooldown right now, so that might give ToD the chance to finish this creep. He's losing one militia, he's not getting the XP for the creep as he took too long, and the Demon Hunter was able to finish it with another mana burn. So level 2 for him already. That's about as good of a start as he could have hoped for. First water metal down, second water metal even being picked off by the Demon Hunter, who has to retreat for now. I mean, he's got no assistance in harassing at the moment, so against the IEM and 4 footmen he'd be taking a lot of damage rather quickly with repositioning here, as the night has started, but he cannot buy any mercenaries at the moment. Of course, as the creeps are here, even the second was placed by LiiLD.C at the other mercenary camp, but so far nothing has been grabbed there, and therefore no mercenaries are available just yet. ToD with the Boots of Speed and Dust of Appearance, pretty important for him to get it on Echo Isles, as he'd be very restricted if the Demon Hunter had got them. So Town Hall is being built, another militia has been called, who's not yet able to contribute to power building this farm. ToD, of course, still level 1, which kinda sucks for him, and he's gonna have to make sure to change that soon. Demon Hunter squeezes out, but as you can see, without the Boots of Speed, it's pretty hard for him to keep the pressure up at the moment. Tier 2 pretty far along already. The Hunter's Hall is, I think, just in time. Now mercenaries have been bought by LiiLD.C, who I'm assuming did do merc abuse, and he's doing the same thing on the other side of the map as well. So he's gonna get a lot of mercenaries here to apply pressure to ToD's expansion. There are only 4 footmen at the moment. The Arcane Tower is halfway finished. He's trying to get the kill on the archer. He's gonna get it with the Dust of Pierce, but losing one footman in return. And we'll see how well he's gonna be able to defend here. As we can see, militia are being caught, another footman is coming in. Yeah, but the second one has fallen already as well. So LiiLD.C at the moment is, yeah, somewhat putting a lot of pressure onto ToD, who isn't going to get too much done with this militia as it appears. He's going to win some time, but he's going to have to send them back. Lumber-wise, he's not looking too strong, but he started his tech already. So apparently he feels quite confident in holding on here. Naga second has been purchased by LiiLD.C, who has his Hunter's Hall finished. He's getting the Ultra Vision upgrade right now, one Ancient of Wonders, no lore yet. So, yeah, he doesn't have the gold for them. He's deliberately delaying his tech here just to apply as much pressure as he can. Excuse me, mic dropped out there for a second, but now it should be working properly again. The first road Berserker is getting killed here by ToD, which is a pretty big deal, as it's a huge investment, 245 gold. As I mentioned previously, delaying LiiLD.C's tech, and didn't get too much out of that one. Another footman has been sniped off, but ToD so far holding on here very, very nicely. Hasn't really taken too much damage. He's taken a little bit of damage, but he's been able to repel this pressure so far pretty successfully. Militia now on the retreat as their duration is about to run out, and of course as peasants they are extremely vulnerable against the Demon Hunter, the Naga, and the Ranger army of the Night Elf player. Another one is going to be picked off, but it's pretty good bait here by ToD as it appears, because he's forced LiiLD.C, or he's gotten LiiLD.C to get into a pretty awkward position. The first road Berserker is going to fall here, and one of the archers is falling. The AM, I was about to say, is in some trouble as well. And yeah, he is forced to Town Portal here. Is there? Okay, he's Town Portal to his expansion, where there is a shop, but he's running in the wrong direction. He's probably going to lose the AM here thanks to this mistake, which is pretty bad news, of course, for ToD. Level 3 for the Demon Hunter, level 1.5 still on the Naga, but rarely or hardly anything on the field anymore for LiiLD.C as well. There's only one tower. He could try and apply some more pressure here. Footman is trying to win some time. The Naga gets the slow arrow onto him, and therefore he's gonna be a rather easy kill for LiiLD.C. He did not get the XP for that one. In the meantime, still tier 2 for him. First strides being produced. Expansion extremely passively placed, so apparently he was a little bit afraid of some counter pressure by ToD, which I don't really see happening at the moment. But alright, does he have Nature's Blessing already? Yeah, he does have Nature's Blessing already, so the Tree of Life can march down to the expansion rather quickly. And let's see, what's the plan here? What's the follow-up? For the moment, it seems like the pressure has eased off. He has done plenty of damage, but ToD, on the other hand, has reached tier 2 already, but he doesn't have the lumber to get anything done at the moment. The Naga has been found, and she's gonna be a very, very easy pick-off here. Demon Hunter doesn't have the boots yet, but he's faster than the Naga. He's got the slow of the Dryad, and he's gonna have his own Naga in place. If ToD tried to escape here, this time the XP did go to the Demon Hunter. Another footman is probably going to be picked off thanks to the double slow of the Night Elf army. And yeah, that's exactly what's happening. So ToD taking plenty of damage at the moment. The second Arcane Tower is being upgraded. Let's see if the damage output is high enough here by LiiLD.C to cancel it. It looks like the answer to that is no. The AM, by the way, is back in the meantime. He's in the back of his expansion buying a Scroll of Regeneration to get full HP back on his footman. 48 supply for the Frenchman. Lumbermill coming. He's in such a horrible position lumber wise. I hope the spawn position is going to be here in the back, which it isn't, so the Naga might fall for a second time. There's not really anything ToD can do about that, and yeah, that's another little setback to the human player here. Level 2 for LiiLD.C's Naga already. ToD with a first rifleman out, trying to repel this push. Once again, I feel like he's probably gonna want to make some use of the large number of footmen that he's already got out, and that are going to become less and less valuable the longer this game goes on. So the IEM is taking a bit of damage. Naga is forced to go around the bottom, but it's not a big deal basically for her as long as she doesn't get surrounded. Now the footman is being picked off. The rifleman should make sure not to get in too awkward of a position here, because he's one of the units that's going to become, or that's going to be valuable in the late game to ToD. And yeah, one of the riflemen is going to be picked off, but the Demon Hunter, as well as the majority of Drides, is going to have to take care here. One of them is going to be picked off by the IEM, and that's exactly what's happened here. The Naga, as I said, needs to make sure not to get surrounded, but ToD does get the surround, and he keeps it closed. And that means one level 2 hero down, finally level 3 on the IEM, and I feel like finally some breathing space has been gained here for ToD, who's added one Arcane Sanctum already. Second one is going to be built just now. He's not adding a workshop just now, and I feel like he might have to stick with the Rifleman here just for the moment. The expansion of LiiLD.C is now marching down towards the natural. Naga is being rebought, and tier 3 is going to finish just now. First bear is being, first 2 bears are already out, excuse me, and third bear is being produced, and I feel like the master upgrade should be following soon as well, which is exactly what's happening. So we're gonna see bears, dryads, counter expansion, etc. against a human tier 2 push as it appears. So classic human versus night elf standard. ToD, as I said previously, he doesn't invest into a workshop. Could be creep checked here with his lone Naga creeping, but of course the IEM is there to provide some assistance against the lone harassing Demon Hunter. LiiLD.C sitting at 50 supplies, so is ToD, but as I said previously, ToD is gonna have to make use of those footmen as long as they are of value. For example, by cancelling the Entangled Goldmine, which would be quite huge, as ToD basically all he wants at the moment is to build on his economy advantage, to make his push as strong as possible, to get as far ahead supply-wise as possible. But as you can see, with the Master Bears available already for LiiLD.C, these footmen aren't really doing too much anymore. So ToD is definitely gonna have to make as big of an army as he can, as quickly as he can. He's immediately building more casters, to be more specific, another sorceress to get up to 50 supply again. He's gathered 700 gold, he's got 2 heal scrolls, 1 invul potion already, new TP has been bought, so I'm assuming he's gonna wanna wait until, I don't know, 1000, 1200 maybe. He's not gonna wanna wait too long, because then the expansion of LiiLD.C is gonna come into play and things aren't gonna get any better for him. So he's gonna have to strike just the right timing if he wants to take down LiiLD.C with a deadly timing push. As you can see, LiiLD.C, he knows that a timing push is coming, and he has broken into low upkeep already. He knows that if he can hold on to his expansion, things are looking good for him, but so far nothing has been decided. ToD still didn't add, there's the workshop. Okay, he did add a workshop, so he's gonna wanna get mortar teams eventually. LiiLD.C slightly too late here for the creep check. One priest is being picked off, and a town portal has been forced, and therefore another almost 500 gold gone for ToD, who has not rebought his TP yet, who has finally broken into low upkeep. As you can see, his lumber still not looking particularly strong. He's rebought a town portal already. Not really necessary to buy it already, but then again, you know, once he does his push, then he's gonna wanna get it anyway. So as long as it doesn't slow down his production, which, as you can see here by looking at the queues in his Arcane Sanctums and in his workshop, it doesn't. It's fine to get it already. He's got 2 heal scrolls, which I feel like is a decent number, given that his opponent doesn't have a high level panda, but just a Demon Hunter and a Naga. 64 supply for ToD, 67 for LiiLD.C. So ToD is probably not gonna get ahead, at least not substantially in terms of supply. The Murloc camp has been pulled here. Let's see. Tome of XP would be great for ToD. He gets Tome of Strength +2. The Naga being invisible. Looks like she's heading down towards the Goblin Merchant. Maybe sell something. Get another Heal Scroll, perhaps. Maybe an Invul for the IEM. So both the Nagas at the shop. He sold the Gloves of Haste. LiiLD.C didn't get anything. ToD looks like he might be waiting. Now it's 6 o'clock and some new items might be available. Still not buying anything. We'll find out eventually about what he's gonna get. So ToD in the meantime 2-0 upgrades on his breakers. He's got Adept on his sorceresses. Doesn't have a single priest out at the moment. And no upgrades on his mortar teams just yet. IEM actually not staying here to pick up the item, which is the Pendant of Energy, which the Naga apparently is gonna want to pick up, but she doesn't have any space. So a little bit of a strange item management here by ToD, who has sold I think a Claws of Attack, if I recall correctly, on his Naga to pick up the Energy Pendant. On the other side we see Tome of Retraining by the IEM. So Blizzard, obviously. And LiiLD.C, look at this number of bears. DH 4.5, Naga 3.5 did get the Ring of Regeneration here. And he might want to proceed eventually to take the last remaining big camp on the map, level 4 IEM, as we've seen previously he did. Okay, now he used the Tome of Retrain, skilled again. 1, 2, 3, 4 breakers out only. You might want to get a few more to have a really substantial front to work with in these small gaps, in which he's definitely gonna want to fight with the Blizzard, just to make use of that AoE, of the fact that the large number of bears here isn't going to be able to place themselves, or aren't going to be able to place themselves properly.
I smell magic in the air.
Because if he fights out in the open in like an area like this, then he's not going to be able to make do with the low number of breakers that he's got at the moment. So it's 89 supply for ToD, 86 for LiiLD.C, and yeah, with the creeps in his bag, with the awkward position he's been in at the moment, he definitely didn't want to fight, and this gives the Gargantuan Sea Turtle to ToD, and perhaps another great item for him. Let's see, Ring of Regeneration. Alright, doesn't do too much in the late game, as the damage output in the big fights is just way too big for the Ring of Regeneration to provide any compensation. ToD making good use of his mortar teams off the range here, and there's not really anything LiiLD.C appears to be able to do against this. I mean, he can bring some wisps for mass repair, but if ToD sees it, then he can still use Blizzard to get rid of those. So yeah, now LiiLD.C might actually be forced to go into this choke point, and as you can see, he's getting as horrible of a placement with his bears as you can imagine. The Dryad's kind of blocking the way, bears repositioning right now, but no damage output for LiiLD.C available. He realizes that he cannot fight in there, trying to pull back. It costs him 1 bear, by the way. He doesn't have a Staff of Preservation, so yeah, that's why one of the bears went down here, almost the second one as well. Bears being changed into Druid form, just to provide some rejuvenation before the fight starts again. And ToD gets the kill on the Entangled Goldmine here, as it appears. So pretty horrible start of this late game engagement for the Night Elf player, and he cannot get this Goldmine back up and running. So what's the play here is the question for LiiLD.C. Looks like he might be trying to go through the right hand side, maybe fight in here, which would be slightly better. But if ToD realizes it, then he can just march through this little gap. But yeah, LiiLD.C coming around the top, so never mind, he's not going around the forest, he's fighting here on the top. Now the position is again pretty good for ToD, with the Peasants even providing an additional blocking line. Peasants not really of any value to ToD anymore at this stage of the game. Blizzard is hitting okay-ish, level 5 for the Demon Hunter already, which could come into play later on. But it looks like ToD is just in so much of a better position here. The Blizzard is doing so much damage, 73 supply, still for LiiLD.C, 74 for ToD. Now finally the bears are getting some damage done to the breakers and to the mortars as the peasant line has just gone down, but all of the major units of ToD still alive, and LiiLD.C doesn't have anything on his Demon Hunter rejuvenation being casted, but he's going down level 5 for the IEM. Demon Hunter being down is of course a huge blow to LiiLD.C. In addition, all of the bears down here very low. Finally the fairy dragons are in a decent position with their flare form, but there's nothing remaining for LiiLD.C. 70 supply for ToD. And with this bear going down, it's 28 supply for LiiLD.C, who's completely been destroyed in this fight. And he calls game. ToD takes the first best of 3 here, 2-0, extremely convincingly. I mean, I guess there's an argument to be made that Turtle Rock close position isn't the easiest situation for Night Elves to handle, but in this game, LiiLD.C didn't stand a chance in this fight down here. I'm not really sure why the match is continuing to still go on. Okay, now it's over. But yeah, LiiLD.C, after getting the Ogre Magi in the beginning, getting the level 2 before the IEM did, keeping the IEM on level 1 for a you know, decent amount of time, and doing the double Merc abuse, and getting the IEM killed, he had a decent early game. I think he took a little bit too long to get his counter expansion up, and he wasn't able to deal with the you know, kind of bottom push by ToD, if you want to call it that, with ToD going for this very awkward fighting position for the Night Elves in this small gap. We've seen recently Night Elves often just using their Ancient of War to just eat away the entire forest down there. So a situation like that couldn't occur anymore. But in this case, LiiLD.C didn't. I guess the map awareness of LiiLD.C was kind of lacking. He got creep checked down there in the bottom left corner, even though he knew that that was probably the most likely position for ToD to strike anyway. And I guess if he, you know, if he had a like scout fairy dragon or something like that, just to make sure that ToD wouldn't get comfortably into that position, then things could have looked way differently, because he had a huge army, he had the counter expansion up, and if he had been able to force ToD into a different position, then I think his bears would have had much more of an impact, but they didn't. ToD takes the first game with 2-0, which of course for now puts him on top of the group. And the next one we're going to see, the next best of 3 we're going to see, is going to be between Fire and Grubby. I hope you're looking forward to that one. Concerning this one, I hope you liked it. I hope you will give a thumbs up, as well as comment and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next best of 3. Bye.